Facebook Live. We're just briefly setting everything up here. If you're watching this recording, you're probably seeing it before anyone else is seeing it on Facebook. So let me make sure we're live here. Yep, here we are. And let me send out a tweet to invite all of our Twitter followers. And we're going to be following all things cord cutting today. From answering your questions, talking about some of the new devices. Got some new details about the new Roku's coming out here. If you have any questions, if my audio or any other issues are happening, let me know in the bottom down here in the comments on Facebook. Post it right there. We'll love to hear from you, what you think. If you have any questions about the site, about cord cutting, about what you think, any ideas, I'd love to hear from you. A few things right off the bat is you probably all have heard the new Fire TV Stick has been announced. I'm kind of excited about this. It's going to be a much needed update to the existing Fire TV line. They really kind of have fallen behind when it comes to the stick in the current market, with the Roku having a newer model out that really makes the Fire TV Stick look dated. So you want to talk about the new Fire TV Stick? New Rokus are coming out. This is the Roku 4. Same rough body as the other one, so I expect the Premier and the Ultra to actually be smaller. So that should be interesting to see how that works. But I'm excited. You know, this is a first edition test kind of show. We hope to do a lot more of these to kind of reach out to you, answer questions, address everything that hopefully can make your cord cutting experience easier. Mike asks, which router do you recommend for cord cutting? The most expensive one you can afford. Yeah, I got a Netgear. Nighthawk has been one I've been very impressed with. I just upgraded to this new Netgear here. I paid about $200 for mine, but that included a range extender. I got a bundle deal on that. Dead spots are a big issue for cord cutters that I think a lot of people don't really appreciate. The issues of weak Wi-Fi signal. So you want to get as much space or get it centralized as much as you can, get as powerful as you can, and get a Wi-Fi router with AC built in. That's the newest standard. It's the next one up from N. Really does make a difference, and the Roku 4 takes advantage of the new AC standard. The Fire TV box takes advantage of the new AC standard, so check that out. Whatever you can afford there, Mike, I would do that. And again, you know, it could be a little overkill, but they're kind of one of the things that it's best to be an overkill than is to underdo it. So keep that in mind when you're checking out the best router for you. Ricky asks, why can't I sign up for Cellon TV? You know, I'm not sure. We covered that a little bit last week. We discovered them. They're a new service provider out there that's offering streaming channels out similar to Sling TV, Fire TV, and so forth. And I think their main focus of their business of Cellon is not necessarily selling to the end user, is more about selling to companies who want to sell their service. Message them. I have heard from several of our readers that they were able to sign up, but they had some issues getting emails. Check your spam folder and just keep messaging them and pestering them. But it seems like resellers, I think Air 9 or something like that out of Florida is one of the resellers I've found recently. If you go back to my post, you'll find it there. Jeff asks, are you using Kodi and Madro? Some add-on, I'm guessing. I do have mini Kodi players. Here's the new iDroid Nation. This is, I just finished a review of it. Just hit the market. Kind of a nice little player. Clean version of Kodi on here. You know, I really don't use Kodi personally anymore. I do have a lot of older files I've put on here. I use Plex mostly to watch them on my Roku. Kodi's a great player. I think it's going to be interesting to see where Kodi goes in the future. I had an opportunity to meet the Team Kodi back at CES, the people who build Kodi and work on it behind the scenes. And they seem to be pretty determined to stamp out piracy, boxes with preload content. I'd like to point out that the iDroid Nation comes with a clean copy of Kodi, which previous versions came preloaded. So it seems like even some of the builders are realizing where this is all moving to. Ken asks, boxes, they are focusing on 4K and talking about HD audio. Yeah, Ken, HD audio is something that I think is more of an issue with the streaming services more than the box makers. A lot of these devices out there, you were talking about how you're frustrated with box makers not focusing on the audio. A lot of them are very capable of doing very high quality audio. Roku has the Dolby, if I remember right, audio, especially in the new ones, and they can go out there and do very high quality. The problem is a lot of effort's been put into picture quality in streaming, not audio, but that seems to be changing. I wouldn't be surprised to see a uptick in quality of audio going forward, and that's really something that's going to have to be pushed by Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, those kind of sources to offer improved audio quality. Ricky, the Avio box, I've never tested it, so I can't recommend that one way or the other. But we've had a lot of new people join us. Welcome to the very first cord cutting call for help, cord cutting live. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to call this going forward, but we're going to do our best every week to answer your questions and give you the most from your cord cutting experience. Part of that commitment is going to be trying to be here every week to talk to you, the cord cutters, talk about new devices like the Fire Stick, and talk about services that are out there, and then answer your questions. Mary asks, Roku streaming stick is great, price on point. Okay, yeah, if you are looking for a cheap middle of the road one, the Roku Stick, which I got actually connected right behind me here on the lab right now, that's a great $40 is a very nice device. I'm interested to test out the new $30 Roku box to see how that competes with the current Roku Stick. I got a post about the Roku Express, that tiny little box, coming up tomorrow, so check that out. Jeff asks, what's my opinion of the Fire TV Stick? Don't buy the current gen that's out. Pre-order the new one. If you see a discount on the older Fire TV Stick, I wouldn't bother getting that. Even if it has the voice remote, it's still the same stick as the first gen one. Definitely seems to be falling behind. I'm interested to see what the new Fire TV Stick can do. Spec-wise and performance, it's still slower than the first generation Fire TV box. That doesn't necessarily mean a lot. The Fire or Roku Stick and the Roku 3 share similar performances, and the Roku 3 had similar performance to the the Fire TV box. Maybe getting a little too confusing here, but I'll sum it up this way. I'm concerned if the Fire TV Stick will really be that much better than the old one. The specs don't look all that impressive. No additional RAM on the device at all, which is something I was hoping for. But it doesn't actually take a lot to stream content over there. So I think it's going to come down to what the new Fire TV OS. They got a brand new OS coming out, so does Roku. And how that uses the hardware and how that processes the content, I think is going to be the main thing there. If you like the Fire TV, you like that atmosphere, you like that user interface, order the new Fire TV Stick. If you can afford it, I would definitely get the box. That's still a considerably more powerful device than the new Fire TV Stick. Maybe a little confusing answer there. Alan asks, always worried about weather and static with antennas. Any recommended products where that stuff isn't too much of an issue? Mohu recently posted a story on their blog, the gomohu.com. Check out their blog. They posted a story about grounding your antenna, and that's probably a topic I probably should talk about on my site too. If you have an outdoor roof-mounted antenna, it's always a good idea to ground it. I put mine in the attics to kind of protect that a little bit. They do sell surge protectors for antennas that will take care of static. The real issue with an antenna on your roof is a direct lightning strike, and that's where grounding it comes in. A surge protector can help to a point with static and so forth, but that's, we talk about these as possibilities and everything, and you should always take that into consideration when you're setting up an external antenna. But the reality is it's, very rare that an antenna gets a direct hit. So check that out. We, gomohu.com, check out their blog. Scroll down a little bit and you will see a post about grounding your external antenna easily and cheaply. It's really not that hard to do, and it can offer a lot of, avoid a lot of expensive damage to TVs and so forth. Also, go to Amazon, I think Walmart probably sells them now too. Buy a little power strip that has the coaxial cables on there for grounding. Get a good high quality one. That'll really help you there. Ricky, you pre-ordered the Fire TV. Yeah, that's the new stick. Definitely would do that. If you're going to get the stick, pre-order the new one. You can still find the older one. I see them every now and then in a store or online. Wouldn't recommend buying that older one right now. Hey, I see we have a lot of new people again. If you have any questions or comments, I'm going to do my best to kind of answer all your questions and hopefully help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience and make cord cutting easier for everybody. So leave me a question down at the bottom. Dan asks, have you ever tried the new 4K MyBox yet? You know, I haven't. I have read about it extensively. They just went up for sale officially, and they never responded to my request for a review unit. Google is not a company that typically sends review units out to sites like mine. If you're not one of the big three, Engadget or TechCrunch or something like that, they're not a company that sends out review units. So I struggle with it a little bit. $69 didn't sound like a bad price when they announced it, but now that you got quad-core Fire TV sticks at $39, you got a Roku that can do 1080p for $30, and you got the quad-core Fire or Roku stick at $49. It really does make it hard to say that a budget player at $69 can work. With that said, it has all the capabilities of a Chromecast, basically, at the same price, but it plays games. The new Chromecast came out at $69. I would buy the 4K MyBox long before I would buy a Chromecast Ultra, which is their new 4K one that was announced this week. So that's why I would recommend. Hello, Robert. Good to see you back here again. But the MyBox, I do plan to do a full review of it. It seems like a decent little box. The price point will probably come down pretty quick since the competition has come out a lot cheaper now. Ricky asks Frankie asked first, the DVR I prefer. Two ones I recommend, Channel Master and Tableau. Channel Master plugs directly in your TV. They do have a new one coming out, looks like that will be based on a network, but that just is like a TiVo or cable box. It does have some streaming apps built into it. And so check that out, or go Tableau. That's a nice one that connects to your Wi-Fi network, allows you to watch outside the house, watch it through a Fire TV, Roku. You need another device, Apple TV, Android TV. It pretty much supports all the major ones out there. So those are the two I recommend, Tableau DVRs and Channel Master DVRs. Robert asks, about NHL games. Robert, come keep an eye on the site. I'm working on a full-blown review of how to watch NHL hockey. It'll be out this week, probably Friday. That's a topic it'll take a long time here. Mary, yes, Plex is another great DVR out there. If you're fairly confident in setting up a server and being kind of more of a techie person, Plex is a very powerful DVR, but I generally try to stick with a little bit more easier one. I struggle with the HD Home Run. I tested it out a little bit. I need to give that another one. I'll try to plug that in next week and update and see if it's in better. But I had some issues where I'm not a big fan of HD Home Run. I don't like the lack of Wi-Fi on it. You have to have your antenna next to a place where you can actually plug it into an Ethernet jack. And I think for most people, that's typically not the most ideal of a location for your antenna. And that's my issue with Plex, is it relies on the HD Home Run, a product I've struggled with a little bit. Dan, thanks. I hopefully will have a review up. I plan to walk into Walmart soon and try to pick one up of those MyBoxes. There was reports that the Roku boxes hit Walmart today. I ran around all day today looking to see if the new Roku boxes were out there. None of my local Walmarts here in Texas had one, but I also didn't see my boxes, which Walmart was supposed to have about now. So we'll keep my eyes open. Hopefully they'll pop up soon. If you have any questions or comments, I think I missed some. The way Facebook Live scrolls, if I don't catch it before it scrolls down, I've lost the comment. So if you ask a question and I have not answered it, leave me a comment down below. But for all the people who are joining, once again, my name is Luke from Cord Cutters News. I am the face, I guess you would say, behind the site. Started it several years ago now. I'm the only employee, really, of Cord Cutters News. and I love it. I love helping people. The best thing in the world is when I get an email or comment that says, hey, you helped me save money, and you helped me get out there and become a cord cutter. I just love that. Robert asks, we have them, but they can't sell the new Roku boxes yet. Robert, do you work for Walmart? So you have it in stock at the store? Yeah, they're not supposed to sell it yet. It would not be the first time I've walked into a Best Buy or a Target or a Walmart when a product was put on the shelves early and successfully talked my way into buying it. Sometimes you have to ask a manager to override the lock on it. Yeah, you have it in store. What can I ask what state you're in? You don't have to say a city. I'll be interested to see what state has the new Roku boxes. And this is pretty typical for them to have the new Roku boxes like at Walmart behind the counter waiting for the release date to come out. Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay, so Pennsylvania has it. I've heard a couple from New York have had it and so forth. Andy asks why PlayStation Vue needs to be tied to your home network, where Sling and SFN TV worked anywhere. Well, that comes down to the contract they signed. Basically, they struck a deal to get access to DVR to say we won't allow it outside your home network. They have a contract with content owners like Disney and Comcast or NBC Universal that says that, for this price, our users can do X. And it's a game. Content owners want so much money. I'm sure PlayStation Vue would love it to be available everywhere, but they can only do what they can strike a deal for, what they can afford to try to make a deal that'll be make it worthwhile for them to do and sell at a price they can. So that's why it's a balancing act between the content owners and in this case Sling T or PlayStation Vue to get the access. And when they made the deal, it was a pretty aggressive deal out there. I was asked, does your family prefer Sling TV or PlayStation Vue? I struggle with this a little bit. I think I have both. I have PlayStation Vue. I have Sling TV. Ricky asked this question. And it really kind of comes down to this. What channels do they have, and do you travel a lot? I'm a Big Ten fan, so PlayStation Vue has the Big Ten network. That's awesome. If you're a Pac-12 network, Sling has the Pac-12, or Pac-12 fan, Sling has the Pac-12 network. They both have similar issues, I find. The interfaces both have their pluses and minuses, quality issues on both at times. I think, honestly, we're in an infant stage of what technology streaming like this is going to look like here 5 years from now. Will probably be very different. But I like both. I like Sling because I travel a lot. I like being able to access the outside without having to jump from app to app. I like PlayStation Vue with its multiple streams at ESPN. But at the same time, they both leave me wanting a bit more on that. So both, get whatever has the channels you want. I will say I do think Sling has got some. I do like their model of pricing of a base package you can add on. I think they're a little bit more flexible, and I like that. Denise says pre-ordered the Roku Express from Amazon. Didn't think about it. Well, I need an HDMI cord. They say that the HDMI cord comes with it to plug in the Express into your TV. By the way, Best Buy got a notification. They're shipping their pre-orders. They went up today. So I may even receive it early, depending on how, if they actually hand it over to UPS today. Why would I want Roku? I already have an Apple 3 and 4. If you're Amazon Fire TV and Fire Stick, Roku still has a ton more apps than both of those. It's a lot closer than it used to be. I don't recommend Apple. I'm not a fan of that at all as a primary platform for three main reasons. No PlayStation Vue, no Amazon Video, the number 2 streaming service in the country. The Apple TV is very expensive for what you get. I could buy 3 Rokus that do pretty much everything the Apple TV does, that and get 3 of them for the price of 1 Apple TV. If you got a Fire TV, all that, and you're happy, good. There's no reason to get a Roku then. I like Roku's app selection. That's pretty large. I like it for non-tech savvy people. If you're not very fluent, I bought my parents a Roku for the quick buttons. I like Fire TV for the voice search. I'm a big fan of that. If you have a ton of content on iTunes, then Apple TV is where you want to go. It does miss several big services I think are very helpful to cord cutters, but they're getting better on that. It'd be interesting to see if PlayStation Vue comes to the Apple TV this year or when that actually happens. I wouldn't be surprised to find out maybe an exclusivity deal. A lot of these services like to sign deals like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Ricky says, I like PlayStation Vue, but I have trouble streaming it, but I don't have trouble with Sling TV. I've heard that sometimes. PlayStation Vue sometimes makes me scratch my head because like the Big Ten Network always seems to have trouble streaming for me, but other channels on it do not. So there definitely, I think sometimes it has to do with how close you live to the data centers, and not all data centers maybe carry all channels. I don't know why PlayStation Vue sometimes has issue with one channel but not others. SFN. Ivan asks, I said something about FSN. It's probably heard me say SFN, which was it's a competitor streaming service. I probably had a fraudulent moment and mentioned them by mistake. They're regional now. They used to be national, just like Sling TV and PlayStation Vue. If you go over to my site and type in SFN into the search box, you'll find it there. Lisa asks, can you set up a Roku in one state and then take it to another? Yeah. I set all these Rokus up in either Michigan or Missouri. I'm in Texas, and I had no issue transferring it. The only issue I had was not with the Roku, because I could take this to... I've actually taken a Roku with me to Korea, plugged it in, and it's fine. It does depend on the services out there that will work. For instance, Roku geo-blocked us because this was before they made it available nationwide. And PlayStation Vue, I had to reset my account to access it after I moved to Texas when I moved all my Rokus here. So yeah, the Rokus can be moved cross-country with no issues, Lisa. It's going to come down to if any of your services. Moving within the United States shouldn't be a problem except for maybe PlayStation Vue. Ricky asked about XTV. XTV is not a legal service. A lot of people think it is. They try to present themselves sometimes that way, but it's really no different than third-party Kodi add-ons that are out there. So I don't promote that kind of content on the site. Ivan asks, have you ever tried SFN TV? Yes, I have. I was actually one of the first sites that ever kind of announced it. We got an early exclusive talking to the creators, but sadly, back in August, they temporarily ended their national service. It was kind of a nice little one. I'm not sure if you guys can all see this, but they had a $10 package, a $5. But the core packages were $34 and $48. You got 60 channels for $34, $48. You had a DVR, some other features on there that were pretty cool that I really liked. And it was a good solid stream, great quality. So check that out there. It really was a nice service that they promise is coming back to the market here soon. Hopefully you guys can all see that. But that's the story. Just head over to Cord Cutters News there, Ivan, and type in SFN for more details about them. So, again, a lot of new people here. Welcome to the very first kind of call for help cord cutting. Maybe at the end of it, we'll talk about what we should call this show. But every week, my goal here is to answer your questions about all things cord cutting and help you get the most from your cord cutting experience. Robert asks, any more info about DirecTV Now? Now, just kind of quickly recapping, DirecTV Now is a service that is meant to take on Sling TV and PlayStation Vue. It's coming out later this year from AT&T, who now owns DirecTV. There's nothing official. We do have a bunch of pieces of information. We know Disney channels, including ESPN, will be part of it. NBC Universal channels, including some probably NBC-owned stations, will be on there and own the service. The AT&T executive came out recently and said he's not a believer in small bundles. He thinks skinny bundles, are not the future for TV. So I'm really not expecting from that and some other comments this to be much different than the current DirecTV service now just put online. There seems to be kind of this thought within the community, cable community, that cord cutting is more about just watching content online, and I think they missed the boat. Just putting content online is really not, I think, what cord cutters want. It isn't like, oh, we're going to go watch it online, because it honestly is not necessarily easier online. I think it's more about price, and even more importantly, it's about control. So A&E is going to be there. Discovery Network's going to be on that. NBC Universal, ABC. They've come out and said they got over 100 channels that will be a part of it, but we're not sure of the full lineup. Those are the ones we know of, and we'll check that out. So that's everything we know right now about NBC or DirecTV Now. Mike asks, recommend the best antenna to get the most local channels. That kind of depends on where you live. I recommend checking out a site called antennarecommendations.com. Put your address there to get an idea if you should get an indoor and outdoor antenna. Outdoor attic mounted antennas are always best. A little bit more is always better than not enough with an antenna. The Sky 60 from Mohu is really great. The 4V is a super powerful antenna too. They're both not cheap. They're both attic or roof mounted antennas. Mike, I would check those out and see if that fits what you want there. Donnie asks, YouTube Red, have I tried that out yet? I haven't. I'm kind of concerned because it seems like, somebody who creates content for YouTube, it seems like YouTube Red views pay less to the creators. But I may just be mistaken in my impression from looking at the stats on that. I'm not a big music person. I love audiobooks. I'm a huge Audible fan, talk radio, sports radio, all that kind of stuff. So I haven't bit the bullet and subscribed for YouTube Red yet. None of the original shows there really piqued my interest. But I'm starting to get tempted to do it just for the ads, because I don't know if any... Question for everybody here. Have you noticed that YouTube has had fewer skippable ads recently? Maybe it's just me, because I'm using YouTube a lot to take like trailers out and put them into my posts about upcoming what's new this week and so forth. But it seems like a lot of different channels and videos on YouTube offer unskippable ads, and it's really starting to be annoying. Anybody notice that, or am I just having bad luck with what kind of ads I'm getting? But that's been making me think about getting YouTube Red, because the sheer amount of time it feels like I'm sitting through ads that seem kind of long and are non-skippable. Though I will say, when I was in Korea, they had ads that were literally a minute, 2 minutes long, non-skippable, and it would be like watching a 30-second YouTube video. Robert says he noticed that too, that there's been some more unskippable ads. Yeah, ads don't bother me as somebody who makes a living off of ads. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But I've been tempted because of those unskippable ads. If I lived in Korea, I'd definitely be paying for it, because those 1 minute, 2 minute unskippable ads are ridiculous. Ryan asked if I, still working with Elias, talking with Elias. Yes, Elias and I have talked regularly back and forth. He's doing a lot over at AFTV News and so forth. I'd love to maybe get him on here someday and we can do a Fire TV specific question and answer session. But check it out, and if they next time I get a confirmed big press event for like a Fire TV or a new Apple TV like we did last time, I'll probably try to get Elias back on here to do live content or live play-by-play call of the next big Apple announcement and so forth. Auntie says, I live near Cleveland, Ohio, and I can still get SFN TV. Yeah, they said that it's going to be in the Atlanta area for now for SFN TV now, but they plan to go national again soon. We'll see how that all comes out. Ricky asks, if you have a Chromecast, I believe they offer 2 or 3 month offer free of YouTube Red. Yeah, I've seen that. I always get emails too about free trial. I've just never bit the bullet because as somebody, I support my family off primarily ads. Ads and like Amazon referrals are the main way I support my family because I work full time on the site. So I don't have a problem watching ads, at least with the old YouTube system. But these new unskippable ads are kind of getting ridiculous, and they are making me think about doing it, which I know means less income for the YouTubers, but at the same time, it's like, man, I just want to watch a 30-second ad. I don't want to sit through a 1 minute video or commercial. Excuse me, I want to watch a 30-second video. I don't want to sit through a 1 minute ad. Hey, I see there's a lot of new people back here again. Welcome to the very first Cord Cutting Live, where we're going to take your questions and hopefully help you get more about the cord cutting, help you talk about all things cord cutting, give you kind of my thoughts, my opinions on cord cutting, help you get the most from your cord cutting experience. And if you're new, maybe help you become a cord cutter. If you have any questions, leave it down here at the bottom of the Facebook Live video. And yeah, this is the first one we're getting out there and struggling to see how this works. And we're going to every week try to have a video where we're going to be answering your questions. Lori asks, someone suggests hooking up 2 antennas to one TV. Is that a thing? You know what it is. The Air TV, which is a new antenna, actually has, it's an antenna with a DVR built in that you can also plug another one in. You could do it through a switcher. I'm not so sure how successful using one of those like splitters where it just takes like 2 inputs or 2 into 1. I'll have to play around with that, see how that really works. In theory, you could connect 2 antennas to one TV. I've never really messed with it, but that could be kind of a fun experiment I could do in the lab here, which is right back here, just under construction right now. We'll have a brand new cord cutting lab I'm putting some money into. Michael asks, how come Hulu is having a hard time securing channels for their live streaming service when Hulu is owned by 4 media corporations? They also own TV channels. Hulu is struggling to get media or content channels because that they're owned by a rival company. I'm sure that a competing company is not very happy of helping out Comcast. If I'm Viacom, I probably don't want Comcast to get the ability to control my access to the market, if that makes sense. So it probably helps them and it hurts them. For instance, to get the Time Warner, not Time Warner Cable, the Time Warner content like the HBO company and so forth, which is a totally different company, to agree to allow them to have their content, they had to sell part of their part of the company to Time Warner, which I'm not sure was a good thing for cord cutters, to be honest with you. So I think part of it's that Sling TV and Drake TV have a little bit easier because they can say, hey, if you want to renew with us, Sling has done, or Dish has done this for Sling. If you want to renew and be on Dish, you have to also give us rights for Sling TV. And that kind of, it says, hey, we're one of the largest cable providers out there, satellite pay TV providers, we call them. And if you want access to our subscribers, you have to also allow us to do it for the streamers. I was talking to the executive, the CEO of Sling TV, and he said when it first started, they had to kind of twist arms, and now it seems like people are actually chasing them down to get their content on Sling. So there seems to be a change there, but at the same time, there's so many more. There's Vidgo coming out, YouTube's got live TV service coming out, DirecTV, PlayStation, Sling TV, smaller providers like SFN TV and Cellon are all out there. So I think companies are a little less willing to work with Hulu because they have other options, and they're worried, I think, about Fox, Disney, and Comcast getting a stranglehold on the market. Robert, we don't know that didn't work with WGN America. We'll kind of see. Often these deals are signed months before it actually comes to the service. For a variety of technical and legal reasons, often they will sign the deal, do a bunch of back-end work, and bring it out. A&E coming to PlayStation Vue, I have not. PlayStation Vue, we'll see what they do. They seem to be focused on adding local channels right now more than anything at this time. So I'm not sure if or when A&E will come. I'm sure PlayStation Vue would love to have them. It's just about, can we afford to do this and keep the price point where we want to do it? So check that out. Chucky says, I can't get ABC in Hartsburg. Over there, I can get CBS, which is the same distance and direction. I tried 2 different ACK antennas. Any suggestions? Oh, that's a tough one. I live in a similar situation. It could be a different type of band that they're using. It could be VHF or UHF. That could be the problem. It could be just different enough direction on the tower pointed for the transmitter that you may be in a blind spot for it. I got a similar issue here with NBC. I get everything by NBC. I mean, I get a ton of channels, but NBC is one channel I just cannot quite get, which is kind of a tough thing. College sports on ABC are streamed through Watch ESPN if you have access to that. Sadly, at some point, You could try putting a 50-foot pole on the top of your TV or on top of your house, connecting it that way. But sometimes you live in a shadow of a hill, even though they may be in the same kind of general area. A building, a hill, something could be blocking that, unfortunately. William, yes, I see that TV is is now on Roku. For anybody not familiar with TV, that used to be called Turvy, which is they're kind of a Five Links is a multi-level advertising company out there where they got reps that go around and sell the content. Kind of think of the Amway model. You don't buy straight from Turvy, you buy through a rep in your neighborhood. And they seem to be a reseller. I thought I knew who their reseller was, and I think they've changed who they're reselling from. I'll have to follow up on that. But they are on the Roku, but they're not public yet. They sent an email recently basically saying a few people have received access to it, they're testing it, and that they hope to very shortly go public. So TV's out there. I did talk to one subscriber of TV who said, quote, what they promise is not what they're delivering. That's not what I said. You can find that in the cord cutting tech support page. Somebody posted that there, that they were disappointed with it. So I'm very eager to get my hands on it, get my content out there. I talked to some executives from the company behind TV recently. They promised to get me a press release, and that hasn't happened yet, but they said they're going to try to clear the air and make it more clear, and I promised them anytime they do that, I'll be more than happy to post. Anything we had wrong, we'll post a correction on. But they haven't followed up and sent us a link to that. So fingers crossed that we'll know more about TV and maybe find out who they're reselling here soon. The question, do you know when Vidgo will launch? No, they haven't announced that. I'm pretty sure they want to launch as soon as they can. I get this question a lot, what's taking TV so long? That, if you think about it, Vidgo announced actually after DirecTV and after Hulu did, and Hulu and DirecTV are also not out. So we'll see what happens with Vidgo, though I would expect them hopefully to come out soon. William asks, any news on View Local? View Local is a news service that actually is going to work with ISPs in rural markets to stream local channels. Similar to a Sling TV type model. I don't have any exact news on when that's coming out to different markets. If you go over to Cord Cutters News, let me jump over here real quick, and I can tell you the states that have it. So it's a kind of a nice service. View Local, I like the idea of being able to access local channels in rural areas. Somebody who, when I started my cord cutting venture, was in Missouri, 60 miles from a tower in a valley, and I just could not get any local channels. I got 0 local channels no matter what antenna I got. But it looks like they have some ISPs in North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Kansas, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nebraska, and Colorado. You can find out on the full list over here on the View Local website. You can also suggest an ISP if you want to get your ISP on that list to offer it. View Local doesn't sell direct, they sell through ISPs. And they do it through local markets and regional kind of, small ISPs. It seems to be their main market with that. Ricky, I have not tried out HBO and Showtime on PlayStation Vue. I would assume that the quality is the same as all the other PlayStation Vue ones out there. So try it out, and they seem to be PlayStation Vue picture quality seems to be pretty good. I would assume it would be the same. Yeah, Mary, Weather Nation is a great channel. I love it because it reminds me a lot of the old Weather Channel. Actually, they briefly had me on there. I wrote an article recommending them, and they brought me on to talk about it briefly. So I was very briefly had my national TV exposure on Weather Nation. That was a pretty cool experience. Robert, it's a great channel, and if you're not familiar with Weather Nation, it's probably one, if you can, it should be on everybody's Roku Fire TV. I think they're on the Apple TV now too. Especially with like Hurricane Matthew coming up, it's a great way to track weather throughout the country. They do great on-demand weather and a 24/7 live weather coverage. So check that out. Weather Nation. It's, I think, on pretty much every major streaming service out there right now. But I see. Okay. Naomi, I hope I said that right. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Ask if and such when PlayStation View will add a guide. I'm assuming you mean for Roku. I have a feeling that PlayStation's waiting for the new Roku OS. Roku announced that they opened up a beta, new OS 7.5. It's supposed to be a pretty substantial update to the current Roku OS. And I think when that comes out, we'll probably see the Twitter app, and we'll probably see the new PlayStation View app with a guide built into it. That's all an educated guess. I have no info on the inside of it, but that's what I expect to hear right now from that. Jay says, don't get a PlayStation View of a PS3. Very slow interface. Disconnected it. Yeah, I've heard that from some people too, that newer versions of PlayStation 3 do better, but the first generation of the PlayStation View definitely struggles for some reason. You think it's a very powerful player, much more powerful than a Roku, than a Fire TV, even the newer ones, even more powerful than a Nvidia Shield, but it definitely seems to struggle a bit with the PlayStation View. Numerous people have told me that. Ricky says, when I get the new Fire TV stick, you're thinking of trying again. It could be. The new Fire TV stick is still, in the stats, a lot slower than the first generation Fire TV box, but it will be a noticeable improvement from the current Fire TV stick, so hopefully we'll be able to do it. I think TV briefly appeared in the official channel store. Even if it is a private channel, again, if you get the code, it doesn't do you anything because you need an account. You need the company to give you an account and pay for it to access TV. So if they removed it from the official PlayStation store, you just gotta wait until they make it public, because even if you get the private code, it won't do you anything because you don't have an account. Ricky says the Twitter app on the Fire TV is pretty great. It is. It's a really cool service. Excellent quality stream. Twitter has really done a nice job of offering a stable, solid stream, which is kind of funny because when you think of Twitter, I never thought about stable, reliable streaming servers, because it seems like Twitter, even to this day, is still crashing all the time. But their NFL stream was great. They streamed the conventions, did a great job. The debate was a very solid streaming experience on that. And so, it'd be exciting to get it to Roku. I expect it to come to Roku soon. Why didn't Mohu Channels succeed? Mohu Channels didn't succeed, I think, for two reasons. It's basically an Android interface, and many of the Android apps they were relying on weren't designed for TVs. They were designed you needed really to use like a mouse, so the user interface wasn't the best. It could have been a little bit more powerful. Those are a couple reasons, but I think the real reason the Mohu Channels didn't succeed was the lack of any type of DVR functionality. You couldn't play, pause, do that kind of stuff, which I really thought should have. Mohu Channels was a little device sold by Mohu Antennas that would give you free channel guide information for life, which was really cool. You could see, look forward, see what's on. When you switch channels to say, hey, this is the show playing. Love that feature for free, no monthly bills. But didn't succeed very well. I think mostly because of lack of DVR, to be honest with you. Any news on when Hulu's cable streaming service is starting? William asks. William, they officially announced it for early next year. I know DirecTV also said early next year. Now DirecTV's moving it up to late 2016. Wouldn't be surprised if Hulu comes out early, because it's kind of turning into an arms race a little bit with so many similar streaming services coming on the market. It seems like they're everybody's trying to get it out as quick as they can. Fingers crossed that they'll be able to do that. Kenny asks, if I get local channels with PlayStation View, will I be able to watch NFL games? Am I understanding that question correctly? I hope so, Kenny. Yes, local channels, PlayStation View, and Sling TV stream the games. I was watching some Sunday Night Football on PlayStation View through the NBC. I get that out of Dallas for some strange reason, even though I live almost 4 hours from Dallas. But the NFL Network games, Thursday night games, are not on Sling and they're not on PlayStation View. You need to use the Twitter service. It's free. You don't need to pay anything to stream the games. They have an Apple TV, a Android TV, and a Fire TV app right now. Roku, I'm expecting to come out soon. But yeah, PlayStation View does stream on the local channels if you live in a market with it, NFL games. Yeah, I see we have a ton of new people coming out here. Thanks for everybody joining. We got about 15 minutes left here. I'm gonna try to do my best to answer everybody's questions, help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience. Just leave us a comment down on Facebook Live. This is the very first one of these episodes. We'll be doing many more Q&As in the future. I got some stuff coming. We're gonna put some bookshelves back here so it's not so boring right behind me. I've been wanting them for a while anyways. Get my books out boxes and so forth. But if you got a question, let me know. This will be weekly, but post it in the Facebook Live comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Andrew says, when will the Hulu On Demand content be a separate cost from... Oh, will the Hulu On Demand content be separate from the live streaming service? Yes, they sent out several surveys to the current members, several different versions of it, asking people what they thought, and every version of it had Hulu Live TV and Hulu what you have now as separate services. You had to pay for both to get both, which probably won't go over very well. Now they could change that. There's still a lot of time before the service comes out, so they could change that, but I don't really expect them to combine Hulu as it is now with a new Live. Those seem to be totally different services. Robert asks, Verizon also has exclusive streaming rights on mobile phones. That's why Sling of You can't stream them. Yeah, that's part of the issue there with NFL has sold rights to different people. NFL sold Thursday night rights of streaming to Twitter. They're only ones allowed to stream it. And phones with Sling. But at home with Sling and PlayStation Vue, you can watch, if you have a local channel on your local services, you can watch NFL games on the local stream. Ryan Essa says, I hope you do more reviews of Roku channels sometime again. I got a bunch to work on hopefully soon. I got my Roku 4 here hooked up in our lab. We'll be working on doing a lot more channel recommendations, so keep an eye on that. I've also been doing more like, hey, here's what's new this month, some noticeable ones to check out. If you go to Cord Cutters News, you're going to see recently we did the 5 new Roku channels from the last month that we recommend. So check that out too. We're going to try to do our best and recommend more Fire TV, get some Apple TV, Android TV ones all included in that too. Okay, Andrew says the TV private channel code is very simple. TV, TEEVEE. They posted it on their Facebook page yesterday. Again, if you want to go add it, go ahead, but you're not going to be able to really use it unless they grant you an account. You can go to their website, just search for TEEVEE, and it'll come up. I am kind of surprised that they call themselves TV because there's a lot of products, podcasts, and stuff that have been around for a very long time that use that name. So it should be interesting to see if they keep the TV name, just because there's so many companies out there that are long established that have the TV name. So if you go into, for instance, the Apple Store and you type in TV, you're going to find a podcast that's very popular there. There's also an app, I think, that helps you, find shows, TV shows and so forth, called TV also. So it may be a little confusing there for people too. So, but if you want to just add it to your Roku and check it out, there you go. Another Sling TV PlayStation Vue competitor is hitting the market. So any questions, comments, leave us a note down here. I'll do my best to answer them. The next question, how fast do you think it will take Sling TV to get local stations to all markets? End of the year? Sorry, it's surprisingly hard to talk nonstop for an hour. I had to take a drink of water there. Sling TV getting local channels is something I'm sure they would like to do. It's more of an issue for a couple things. Here's the 3 holdups with getting local channels on a streaming service. One, there is the cost. You have to buy rights from each station. Many of ABC, NBC, and so forth are owned by separate companies. They're not owned by ABC. Companies buy the rights to air it in a certain market. That's why you see same company that actually owns rights to an NBC station in one market will also have an ABC station. Same company, but they just buy the rights to it. So buying the rights is a big part of it. The other part is the FCC actually makes you have a server to stream it in the physical market where that's supposed to be. So let's say you get rights to stream in Chicago local stations. You may have a server in New York that streams all the cable channels, but you have to put a server in Chicago to stream that content by FCC laws. So hopefully they change that, but also having to get a server in each market is part of the hold up there to getting that out there. Dave, so I hope that answers your question. I wouldn't expect every market to get local channels by the end of this year. I'm sure Sling TV would like to be in as many markets as possible, as quickly as possible with local channels. David said he talked with Cellon. Cellon is that new Sling TV-like service that not only allows you to buy directly from them, but they also are a reseller where I think there's like an Air 5 or Air 9, something like that in Florida that resells them, and you can resell their content. He says, I talked to them by their live chat today. They said Fire TV coming in 2 days. And 7-day free trial to be added soon. I've heard that too, that currently they don't offer a free trial. You just buy the service and you have to try it, but I guess they're adding a 7-day free trial. Have you heard about this, and do you have any intel into their service? They seem to have quite a lot of channels and quite a lot of content. I've heard some people tell me that they've tried it and been very happy with it with Cellon. I've heard some people tell me, David, that they tried it and they weren't impressed, that the lineup wasn't that great, and it was didn't line up well with other services. So I haven't tried it yet. I should probably I'll try to get a review of it up in the next week. I got quite a few reviews I'm working on right now, so check that out. Back and forth, I hear a little bit of some people like it, some people don't. So if they got a free trial coming, I would wait for the free trial, take advantage of the free trial, and see if you like it. Rick says, here in Austin, we get Fox local channels and on demand for NBC. Yeah, it's just, it's going to really come down to a slow but steady slog fight for Sling and PlayStation Vue to add local channels because of the rules and the regs and how everything works with it. It's going to take some time for them to be able to add it to every market. Well, we're coming up on about the last 10 minutes here. I got a question for everybody here. What do you think of the show? We're going to try to do a weekly question answer to answer your questions, talk all things cord cutting. May cut it down to maybe 45 minutes in the future for my voice sake. But, what do you think of it? Do you have any ideas for the name of the show, what we should call this? Right now I'm calling it Cord Cutting Live. Maybe Cord Cutting Call for Help or something like that. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And we really do want to make cord cutting as easy as possible for everybody, and part of that is trying to be here for you to answer your questions, to help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience is my goal. It's what I dedicate my life to. It's what I do full time. Thanks. I see a lot of people love it, saying like it. Outstanding. Keep it up for sure. Real helpful and honest opinions. Thanks, David. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Deplorable. Thank you to everybody. I really appreciate everything there. I'm going to also be posting this on YouTube, so if you miss one, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube and hopefully catch up. My goal is to really try to be here. I'll probably be doing some soon. Roku is sending us some review units, though I have a feeling that the ones I actually ordered from Best Buy and a few other places are going to beat the Roku review units. But maybe when I get the new Rokus in, I'll sit down here with everybody live on Facebook, and we can do maybe a live unboxing of one of them. Kind of show you what's in it. We can talk about it. I'm really interested to see what user interface, what OS is on the new ones. Will it be the new 7.5, or is it going to be the current 7.2 that's out there at this time? So I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. For sure on Sunday I should have a new Roku. I have been thinking about maybe doing a Sunday night Q&A, maybe trying out Sunday night. Does anybody have any feedback about Sunday night? Trying this out, or is Wednesday or maybe Monday the best? Yeah, Robert, there was a call for help show on Tech TV. It's the reason I didn't really use the name. I like it. Leo Laporte does it. He kind of has his own call for help show. They did it in Canada for a while, and now he's got a national radio show where he takes calls and helps people with technologies. So I probably shouldn't use the call for help name, but it's a great name. I can't, they were very smart to use it because it perfectly describes the show, what it is and what it does. Yeah, the Roku 4 has a voice search. the new Roku Ultra and Roku Premiere has voice search also, I believe. Football on Sunday night. Yeah, I thought about it. It's always like there's always something because Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. There's Empire is on Wednesday nights. I had a lot of people tell me, don't do that. Auntie says any night. So I don't know. I think we may play around the day a little bit, but I want to be here as often as possible. And I think we're going to do this a lot more when there's like big news. Let's say next time there's a major streaming player announced or other service announced, I may just hop on here and we can just talk about, hey, the new Roku came out. What do you think? Or, hey, Sling TV just did this. What do you think? We can just have an honest conversation about it. Unfortunately, Tuesday nights, Ricky, are the one night of the week it's really bad for me. It's non-option, unfortunately. Thursdays, Tuesdays, and I don't think Fridays are not good days. Those are all days that are bad for me. Fortunately, I'm more of a college fan, so, Monday Night Football and Saturday Night Football don't mean as much for me. What did everybody think of the time? And then we'll wrap this up. Is 7 p.m. Eastern still a good time for everybody? Would 8 be better? And I really appreciate everybody's support. Cord Cutters News, we just topped 1 million unique views on the site. We also just topped 19,000 Facebook likes on the site. So when I say 1 million, I mean 1 million unique views just in the month of September. Have you got my box, David? Yes. Google doesn't seem to really like to send review units out to sites my size. It may sound like getting 1 million visits a month is huge, but they seem to really only work with like the Engadget or TechCrunch type level. So I haven't got a review unit. I've read about it. I will be working on getting a review unit here and posting about it soon. Seems like most people like Wednesday. And any last comments or anything you'd like to know about me before I run? I run the site. My name is Luke. I'm kind of the brain behind the site. I write all the posts on the site now. So feel free to, if you got any questions about my experience being a cord cutter or why I run the site, feel free to ask that before I wrap this on up. But it's really been great. I really appreciate everybody's support. We'll definitely be doing this regularly. And I'll be working hard to try to add more content about it. A couple last things here. If you have not joined the cord cutting tech support page, do that. If you just search for on Facebook for cord cutting tech support, you see we have about 4,500 members here where people post questions about it. Somebody's posting here about looks like a new streaming cable offer. A lot of people ask questions about what's everybody think of the new one. Posts, it's a great place to not only get my content, other people are posting content, people are asking questions, people are answering questions. So it's like a call-in show 24/7. So just search for cord cutting tech support if you're not already a member of that group. So, well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for being a member here. This is our very first show. We'll definitely be working on improving it, learning more about it, and hopefully making this a great weekly resource for new cord cutters and existing cord cutters to help you get the most from your cord cutting experience. I think I'm going to be limiting these about 45 minutes, as an hour is kind of a long time for me to talk nonstop. We'll see. I'll probably get better as we keep going here. But again, thanks for your support of the site. Thank you for your support of our Facebook page and just all things cord cutting. You guys have been great at promoting it. All right, everybody, have a great night. Go tell your neighbors about cord cutting. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to join us at Cord Cutting Tech Support. Just search for us on Facebook. Have a good night, everybody.